We're having a very good start to our Monday. I keep forgetting that it's Monday, but a lot of green throughout the crypto space. ADA is up about 1% on the daily, and what you're seeing is a lot of confidence in the crypto market, but more specifically, conviction. And what we're seeing is bull market level conviction. And what we're seeing for ADA is something that continues to increase week over week, hitting some of the highest levels we have seen in a very long period of time. And I want to talk about that, but what I will say here is if we keep seeing a lot of this news like we're seeing this morning, it's going to be very easy for the market to just keep taking these steps forward. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So I've talked about this many times before that you can eventually get to a point where the sellers are exhausted, where the bears are getting worn out, where you can finally get to this point where there just frankly is not enough people to move the crypto market down. And then what you tend to see is kind of this leg. And we obviously talked about earlier today what we're on the verge of, this big blowout across the crypto market. We talked about stochastic RSI. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but you can truly start to feel it in the crypto market. A lot of this stuff just isn't quite having the same sting that it once had. And that is why even on our big tariff news, we dropped, but then we kind of just nestled in, and then we started to pivot, right? We basically confirmed a higher low here. And now ADA is trying to move to the upside, and we'll see if this continues. But what we're seeing from ADA is just insane levels of conviction. In fact, this last week was the highest week of exchange supply removal we have seen since all the way back on March 2nd. All right. We saw $57 million worth of ADA removed last week, which is larger than the prior week, larger than the prior week, larger than the prior week. It is ascending. And some people have said, oh, yeah, that's because of the glacier drop. No, because this has been going on since basically the middle of November. And there weren't really much in terms of discussions surrounding that at that time. You guys got to remember November was, gosh, what, 6 months ago now? Wow. Yeah. 6 months ago. That's a long time, but this trend has been very consistent. And I think people are starting to realize what Cardano is building, that it's in bigger discussions than it was before. Obviously this move towards full decentralization is a pretty big deal as well. So you're seeing bull market type level conviction when we haven't even gotten into this big up only season yet, big times of adoption. And I think we're getting to this point where people around the market are just unwilling to dump their bags and they want to hold this because guess what? Then people who are trying to get in later, they're shit out of luck. And all they can do is just buy in a way that moves prices significantly. And this is again what leads us to this point where ADA can have this big supply shock like we've been waiting for, right? Now, obviously there's no guarantees in crypto. No one knows what is going to happen for sure. You could see this flip and just see, a huge week of inflows in terms of ADA. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Actually, since the height of the last market cycle, there have been very few weeks that have actually even been an exchange inflow week, which is really kind of wild. ADA is one of the few assets in the space that has actually seen this. Now, why I'm really what got me started on this video is I keep seeing articles like this. ADA founder misappropriation claims drive holders away. No, it's not. ADA holders are actually increasing. Conviction is increasing. They're trying to do whatever they can right now to shake people out of their bags, and frankly, it's not working anymore. And that's where the market does a very hard pivot and move the opposite direction. And if we keep seeing things like what we saw this morning, it's just going to keep moving the market even more. Michael Saylor's strategy just bought another $421 million worth of Bitcoin. Gosh, I wish I had the pockets of this guy and that company, right? What we also saw was an announcement this morning that Japan plans a 900 billion yen emergency U.S. tariff relief package. So they're actually injecting liquidity into the economy. And what we're seeing is global liquidity just continue to rise and rise and rise. And like we've talked about many times before, and I didn't even want to go to this on this video, remember BTC tends to follow global liquidity charts. Look where it's headed, guys. I mean, this is the trend is very obvious where the market wants to and is very much headed towards. But again, I keep talking about adoption, and when we actually start to escape this 5 to 6% range, things are going to move very quickly throughout the crypto space. That means alts are just going to have some of their biggest runs yet in this market cycle. And that's why this is so fun. All right. Crypto's fun again. And in fact, I coined a phrase here. And what it is if you're not long, you're wrong. we should remember that, or I should trademark that or copyright it or whatever. But You guys get the point. We're still so early in this thing, and that's what really gives me a lot of excitement. Okay. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. Are you excited? Are you starting to see this bullish takeover take place? Are you convicted and prepared for what comes next? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.